You might be doing everything right, eating well, staying active, and exercising regularly. But what if I told you that some common workouts could quietly increase your risk of a stroke? Yes, even exercises that seem safe, like sit-ups, planks, or yoga, can become dangerous if you're over 60 and not careful. It's not about avoiding movement. It's about knowing which movements to watch out for. As we age, our bodies respond differently. Blood pressure shifts faster, balance becomes less reliable, and certain motions can strain your brain, blood vessels, or heart more than you realize. A quick bend, a wrong twist, or even holding your breath during a workout can trigger dizziness, sudden drops in blood pressure, or worse, a stroke. I've seen too many seniors fall victim to this, people who thought they were being healthy. That's why today I want to walk you through 9 specific exercises that may put your brain and body at risk, especially if you have high blood pressure or poor circulation. If you're over 60 or care about someone who is, this information could be a lifesaver. Let me know in the comments. Have you ever felt dizzy or lightheaded after a workout? And don't forget to subscribe to 60plus. We're here to help you move safely, feel stronger, and stay independent for years to come. Let's start with something incredibly common: bending forward quickly from a standing position. Maybe to pick something up off the floor or to tie your shoe in a rush. It seems like no big deal, right? But for older adults, this simple movement can lead to a dangerous chain reaction inside the body. When you bend forward quickly, especially without bracing yourself or bending your knees, blood rushes to your head very suddenly. In younger people, the body adjusts quickly. But as we age, our cardiovascular system doesn't compensate as fast. That sudden change can cause a quick drop in blood pressure, known as orthostatic hypotension. The result? You may feel dizzy, lightheaded, or completely lose your balance. Some people may black out entirely. If you hit your head when falling, the danger becomes even greater. A study published in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society found that older adults are significantly more prone to blood pressure drops after rapid positional changes. This isn't just a minor inconvenience. It's a known risk factor for stroke and head injury. I remember talking to a gentleman who tripped in his garage while reaching for a box. He bent forward too quickly, became dizzy, fell, and ended up with a concussion, all from what seemed like an everyday movement. Here's what you can do. When you need to bend forward, always take a moment. Plant your feet firmly, bend your knees slightly, and come down slowly. Use a stable surface for support if you need it. There's absolutely no shame in that. Now, let's move gently from the floor to your neck, as what you do with it might surprise you even more. Have you ever tried to loosen up a stiff neck by giving it a quick twist or turning it side to side rapidly? It may feel good in the moment, like you're shaking off tension, but it can be much more dangerous than you think. Inside your neck run 2 very important arteries called the vertebral arteries. They supply blood directly to the brain, particularly to the parts that control balance and coordination. When you whip your neck around too quickly or do it repeatedly, especially in a strong or exaggerated way, you can compress or even slightly tear those arteries. That's not just uncomfortable. It can severely reduce the flow of oxygen-rich blood to your brain. There was a case reported in the New England Journal of Medicine where a man in his 60s experienced a stroke just minutes after rapidly twisting his neck during a stretching routine. This incident didn't occur during a car accident or a fall. It happened during a stretch. This emphasizes how delicate our blood vessels can become as we age. I met a woman at a senior center who used to perform daily neck rolls every morning. After a few weeks, she began to experience dizzy spells and blurred vision. Her doctor traced these symptoms back to her stretching movements. She decided to switch to gentler, slower head turns, and her symptoms disappeared. Here's a safer approach. Always move your head slowly and deliberately. Avoid jerking or snapping motions. If your neck feels stiff, apply warm compresses, do gentle stretches, or, even better, consult with a physical therapist who understands age-related vascular risks. Are you ready to learn about something many people mistakenly believe makes them stronger, but could actually be straining their bodies instead? Let's talk about weightlifting. Weightlifting can be a fantastic way to stay strong and independent as we age, but it has to be done safely. One of the most overlooked dangers is lifting weights that are too heavy or, worse, holding your breath while doing so. When you lift heavy weights and instinctively hold your breath, known as the Valsalva maneuver. You inadvertently spike the pressure inside your chest and head. This can lead to a rapid increase in blood pressure, placing intense strain on the arteries in your brain. For older adults, especially those with high blood pressure or weaker blood vessels, such spikes can trigger a stroke or even cause a vessel to rupture. A study from the American Heart Association found that sudden surges in blood pressure during heavy lifting were linked to an increased risk of intracranial hemorrhages, particularly among older gym goers. I once heard from a retired firefighter who was staying active at his local gym. One day, he decided to challenge himself with a heavier barbell. Mid-lift, he felt a rush to his head, got dizzy, and nearly blacked out. His doctor later informed him that he had dangerously spiked his blood pressure by holding his breath under strain. So, here's what you should do. Lift weights that feel challenging but manageable. Breathe continuously. Exhale as you lift and inhale as you lower. If you're unsure, always work with a trainer who understands how aging bodies respond differently. Now, if you've ever tried those upside-down yoga poses for better circulation, you might be surprised by the next part. Upside-down yoga poses, like the shoulder stand or headstand, might seem graceful and relaxing, but they can be quite risky, especially for older adults. These poses invert your entire body and send a rush of blood toward your head. While some people claim that it boosts circulation, the reality is that it can dangerously increase pressure inside your skull. When you're in an inverted position, the blood flow to your brain intensifies. For those with high blood pressure or weaker blood vessels, conditions that are more common after age 60, that extra pressure can overwhelm the body. The risks aren't just theoretical. Neurologists have documented cases where seniors experienced vision disturbances, severe headaches, and even mini strokes after attempting inverted poses without supervision. I recall a woman from a yoga class who proudly practiced shoulder stands every morning. However, after a few weeks, she began to suffer from pounding headaches and pressure behind her eyes. Her doctor warned her that the increased intracranial pressure from those poses was putting her at serious risk. After she switched to gentler stretches, her symptoms disappeared. Instead of poses that turn you upside down, consider trying the legs up the wall pose. It's a calming alternative that supports circulation without the associated risks. Always inform your instructor about any medical conditions before starting a new routine. They can suggest modifications that accommodate your body rather than challenge it. Now that we've discussed the risks of inversions, let's move on, literally. The timing of your exercise can be just as important as how you exercise. Evening workouts can feel peaceful. The gym is quieter, the air is cooler, and it's a great way to relieve the stress of the day. However, for older adults, pushing yourself too hard late at night, especially with intense routines like high-speed running or high-intensity interval training, can have serious consequences. Here's why. Intense exercise activates your sympathetic nervous system, which acts like flipping the body's on switch. This is fine during the day, but if you do it too close to bedtime, your heart rate remains elevated, your blood pressure spikes, and your body stays alert when it should be winding down. For individuals over 60, this late-night stress can increase the risk of nighttime hypertension, a known factor for stroke during sleep. A study from hypertension research found that late-evening high-intensity workouts significantly raised nighttime blood pressure levels, even in healthy adults. That's why doctors often recommend morning or early afternoon workouts for older individuals. I spoke with a retired teacher who used to run every night after dinner. Over time, she noticed poor sleep, and on one occasion, she woke up feeling dizzy with a racing heart. Her cardiologist suggested switching her routine to earlier in the day, and this change made a world of difference. If you enjoy nighttime exercise, opt for gentle stretching, slow walks, or calming yoga. Save the cardio for daylight hours when your body is better prepared to handle it. Next, let's focus on something small but powerful, your core. And no, it's not just about achieving a six-pack. Crunches and sit-ups, those classic core exercises many of us have done for years, might seem like simple ways to strengthen your midsection. However, for older adults, performing them too quickly or too frequently can cause more harm than good. When you execute rapid abdominal movements, especially without proper breathing, it causes a sudden spike in pressure inside your chest and abdomen. This can interfere with normal blood flow, particularly to the brain. It's a bit like squeezing a garden hose. The flow gets restricted, and that momentary pressure can affect your circulation in unexpected ways. Research from the American Journal of Physical Medicine and Rehabilitation indicates that rapid abdominal exercises in older adults can lead to decreased cerebral blood flow, especially when done without rest between sets. This drop in oxygen to the brain can leave you feeling dizzy, disoriented, or even faint. A gentleman I met at a local wellness class shared that he felt lightheaded every time he did sit-ups in his morning routine. His doctor explained that the pressure from quick crunches disrupted blood flow to his head. He replaced them with slower core movements and hasn't experienced a dizzy spell since. So what's the safer option? Try controlled core exercises like pelvic tilts or seated marches. Focus on steady breathing. Exhale during exertion and inhale during relaxation. And remember, never rush the motion. Now that we've established a foundation with the core, let's move on to the treadmill, but not before offering a word of caution before you press that speed button. Using a treadmill appears to be a safe, weatherproof way to stay fit. However, for seniors, there's a common mistake that can turn this tool into a serious hazard, running too fast without holding onto the side rails. As we age, our reaction time slows down and our coordination diminishes. Running at a fast pace on a treadmill without support increases the risk of stumbling, which can lead to devastating consequences. A single misstep can result in injuries such as fractures or head trauma, and in high-risk individuals, it could even trigger cardiovascular strain or a stroke. Health agencies, including data from the NIH, have indicated that seniors experience a higher rate of treadmill accidents than any other age group, with one major contributing factor being the failure to use the handrails. Even brief moments of unsteady movement while jogging can significantly elevate heart strain, especially in adults over 60. I recall a man in his 70s who insisted on jogging hands-free every morning. One day, a minor slip turned into a major problem. He fell hard and left the gym with a head injury. His physician later mentioned that simply gripping the rails, even occasionally, could have kept him on his feet. So what's the smarter approach? Maintain a steady pace rather than a fast one. If you feel the slightest bit unbalanced, grab the rails. If you're looking for an effective alternative, consider walking at an incline. This method gives you a cardiovascular boost without the risk of a dangerous fall. Next, we're going to switch gears. This time, it's not speed that poses a problem, it's stillness. Let's talk about the plank. Planks are recognized as one of the best full-body exercises. They build strength, improve posture, and don't require any special equipment. However, holding a plank for too long, especially while holding your breath, can put dangerous pressure on your cardiovascular system. When you're in a plank position, your muscles work hard to stabilize your entire body. This effort increases intra-abdominal and intrathoracic pressure, essentially, the pressure inside your abdomen and chest. If you're also holding your breath, which many people do unconsciously, you cut off a steady flow of oxygen and simultaneously raise your blood pressure. It's comparable to tightening a valve that your heart has to push against. The Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research published findings showing that breath holding during isometric exercises like planks can cause significant spikes in systolic blood pressure, even in fit older adults. Over time, or even during a single prolonged hold, this can stress your heart and reduce blood flow to the brain. I remember a neighbor who loved challenging herself with lengthy plank holds. She would time herself, aiming for 2 minutes or more. However, she began to experience chest tightness and headaches after each session. Once she started taking slower breaths and cut her time in half, those symptoms completely disappeared. So if you enjoy planks, that's great. Just remember to modify them. Aim for shorter durations and focus on proper breathing. Try holding for 20 to 30 seconds while taking deep, steady inhales and exhales. Always listen to your body. Now, let's shift gears a bit and stand up, as the next movement involves something you probably do every day without thinking, standing up and sitting down. It sounds simple enough. It's something we all do multiple times a day. However, doing it too quickly, especially in quick succession, like during squats, can catch your body off guard and lead to a sudden drop in blood pressure. This phenomenon is known as postural hypotension, and it is especially common in older adults. When you change positions quickly, your blood needs to adjust to the shift in gravity. For younger individuals, the body reacts almost instantly. However, as we age, this adjustment slows down. As a result, your brain may not receive enough blood quickly enough, which can leave you feeling dizzy, unsteady, or even cause a fall. It's not about how strong your legs are. It's about how well your cardiovascular system can keep up with movement. A study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association found that older adults who frequently change positions quickly were significantly more likely to report dizziness and were at a greater risk of falls, leading to head injuries or fractures. A friend of mine added fast-paced squats to his morning routine, thinking it would help him stay agile. However, he began to experience dizzy spells that left him unsteady for the rest of the day. Once he slowed down and took a moment to pause between movements, his symptoms disappeared. Here's a safer approach. When doing sit-to-stand exercises or squats, rise slowly. Take a deep breath and allow your body to catch up before moving again. Hold on to a sturdy chair or surface if necessary. Remember, balance is your friend, not a sign of weakness. Now that we've discussed these hidden risks, let's take a deep breath together and focus on something just as important: hope. We have explored the quiet risks that can exist in even the most common exercises. It's not about fear, it's about awareness, respecting the changes our bodies undergo and learning how to move with care and confidence. Staying active is one of the best gifts you can give yourself. As we age, the goal shifts from pushing harder to moving smarter. Every step, every breath, and every stretch can be a celebration of life when done with intention. You don't need to keep up with younger individuals or push beyond your limits. Instead, listen to your body and honor it. I hope this video has helped you see your daily routines in a new light. You may have recognized some habits in yourself or someone you care about. That awareness is the first step towards safer, stronger movement. If one simple change keeps you safe, upright, and thriving, that's a significant win. So, let's continue to show up for ourselves. Let's keep learning, adjusting, and choosing health every day. If this video was helpful, please leave a comment below. And don't forget to subscribe to 60+ for more tips on staying strong and safe after 60. Until next time, take care of that amazing body of yours.